Hello and welcome to orientation. Thank you for staying here at the Gateway Men's Center. I'm going to go through some things over the next little bit and just to communicate what the rules are while you're staying here, as well as just who we are and what we're about, okay? Just to get to know each other a little bit. So, let me start off though with an analogy. So, you remember when you were a kid and your parents were planning a vacation or something along those lines, right? They're planning where you're going to go while you're on vacation, where you're going to stay, whether that's a hotel, Airbnb, wherever you're going to stay, right? They're getting all those things planned out, planning what you're going to do, how long the drive is, where to stop to get gas, right? All those things. And you're really excited. You're a kid, you're getting really excited to go there. When I was a kid, we made paper chains where each day we would tear off one of the links and then we would see how much time we had left until we got to go on vacation, right? We lost sleep the night before because we were just so excited to go on vacation. Well, hey guys, I get that this trip for that is probably not like that for you, okay? I get that there was probably some sort of hiccup that happened in your life to bring you right here to where you are now. But what I do want to say to you is welcome. Good news is that this could be the new beginning for you. Things could change around from here, okay? Things could turn around. So I want to get into kind of who we are a little bit. We are Gateway Mission, and our mission statement is as follows. It says, Gateway Mission exists to glorify God by proclaiming and demonstrating His love through Christ-centered programs of excellence for the homeless and less fortunate. That's really what we aim to do. And we aim to offer three main things. Number one, hope in Christ. Guys, we believe that there is redemption and forgiveness in Jesus Christ, right? In faith in Him, all right? Now, we do not force anybody to believe anything, but we do encourage it, okay? We would love it if you became a Christian, but you don't have to become a Christian while you stay here. You don't have to be a Christian to check in here, okay? The invitation is open, though. We would love to have conversations with you, okay? Next, we strive to offer excellent hospitality. Guys, you will be respected by the staff here, okay? My name's Chris Moorhead. I'm the guest advocate here. If you haven't met me yet in person, I need you to let me know if that's not the case, if you're not respected by staff, and we can have a conversation about that, okay? Because everybody will be respected by staff here. And then third, we strive to offer a forward focus to guys, right? We'll get into the schedule in a little bit, but for example, we don't let guys just stay here in the building all day, every day, okay? And I'll get more specific into that in a little bit. But the reason for that is we want guys to be thinking about the future, right? Not just stuck in this moment with how things are, but realizing that things could get better and working toward that, okay? We have three main buildings that we operate out of. This building that you're in here is the Gateway Men's Center. We also have our Women's Center and then our retail store where the Forge students go for their programming. So speaking of programs, I'll get into that a little bit. We offer three main programs, okay? The first program is the Open Door program. That's the program that all of you guys were automatically enrolled in when you checked in here, okay? That's a 14-day stay, all right? Now, I want to be clear, that's not a 30-day stay, it's not a 28-day stay, it's not a 15-day stay. That is a 14-day stay, and the purpose of that program is for guys to come in, kind of get back on their feet a little bit, have a warm bed to sleep in, food in their bellies for the next 2 weeks, just to figure out some next steps of what they're doing, okay? Next, we offer our Pathway program, right? And that is a 4-month-long money management program, right? You're required to work full-time while you're in that program. And we also have a side program connected to that called Pathway Bridge. That program, Pathway Bridge, is more for guys that aren't able to work full-time quite because they're on disability or have some other type of circumstance or something like that, okay? I'll get more specific into the rules on Pathway toward the end, but see me if you have any questions on that, okay? I run the Pathway program as the guest advocate, and we can talk about that, okay? And then third, we offer our Forge program. That is our 9-month-long life transformation program, all right? So you're sitting here thinking, man, 9 months, that's a long time. That's awesome. Sign me up. Now, hold on, pump the brakes. Let me explain what that program is for, okay? We would love it if you went into the Forge program because that is for guys that have been doing life one way, that they have specifically come to a place where they're like, man, I've got to do life a different way. This is not working out, right? I've got to change my life drastically. That's what that program is meant for. Now, We offer great things in that program, like vocational classes where you'll get different certificates to be able to put on a resume. That way, you won't just have some random 9 month gap in your resume after the program. You can go to employers and say, hey, I was working specifically toward these things, all right? We take great pride in that. We want people to be better when they leave that program than when they got to that program. So we want guys to be set up for success. In that, you'll also work on the production floor 3-4 hours a day, just to put into practice what you're learning in vocational class. You'll also have Bible class that you'll be required to go to, as well as life skills classes, okay? In that, you'll also have one-on-one counseling sessions with a counselor once a week, okay? Now, there are 4 main hurdles that guys run into when they're trying to decide whether or not to sign up for the Forge program, okay? So let me get into those a little bit. First, and I like to be forthcoming with these just because I want guys to know what they're signing up for. So first, you won't be able to have access to a cell phone or any electronics while you're in that program, okay? You won't be able to have access to any money while you're in that program. You won't be able to have access to any romantic relationships while you're in that program. Anything you currently have going on romantically will have to be put on hold, and you can't start anything new while you're in the program, all right? And then fourth, you won't really have freedom of where to go and when to go, right? Your schedule is set for you. You're told where to go, when to go, and you always have to have somebody with you if you do go on an approved pass, all right? So the reason for those 4 hurdles are because those are 4 of the main things that have distracted us in life that we really want to put on pause while you're in the program so that you can really focus in on the work that you need to do inside of you, all right, in your heart, okay? So let us know if you have any questions on those programs. And again, Pathway, the 4-month-long money management work program, I'll get more specific into that at the end, all right? But now we're getting more specific into some rules while you're staying here, okay? Rules, policies, procedures, whatever you want to call it. These are things that must be followed while you're staying here, okay? These things are meant to keep people safe, all right? We have no interest in being a dictator over somebody's life. We're not just trying to control people. We're not on some weird power trip or anything like that. This is truly meant to keep people safe, okay? And as I'm getting into it, a CG is a corrective guidance. That's basically a write-up, okay? You can get a CG for breaking any of these policies, all right? So getting into it, curfew is every day of the week at 8 p.m. except for Thursdays. Thursdays curfew is at 6 p.m. because of the Gateway Encounter service. That's every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. I'll talk about that more in a little bit, okay? But curfew is 8 p.m. every night of the week except Thursday. Thursday is 6 p.m. Now, obviously, if you're working second or third shift, you're not going to be here at curfew, right? So when you leave for work, you have to sign out with the guys in the Welcome Center. The Welcome Center is the front desk surrounded by windows that have the guys working in it. That's the Welcome Center, all right? You're required to go to them and check out, say, hey, my name's Chris, for example. I'm leaving for work. This is the time that I'm expected to be back, all right? Now, side note, you're only able to miss curfew if you are working, and if you're missing curfew because of work, you have to come back here right after your shift ends, okay? So you can't get off at 11 p.m. and then show up at 4 a.m. and say, hey, I'm back from work. Doesn't work like that. You got to come right back here after work if you're missing curfew, okay? And you have to sleep here a minimum of 5 hours a night, okay? That just shows us that you are using the bed that is assigned to you, okay? Because if you're not, then that's a bed that we could be giving to somebody else so that they can use, okay? Late passes. If you're going to miss curfew for any other reason other than work, it's got to be approved by staff, okay? Talk to the guys in the Welcome Center if you have a concern or a question about that, and they'll let you know some things that are okay to miss work for. Really, it's not many things. If your mom's in the hospital, for example, go be with your mom, right? Just communicate to us what's going on and then work, obviously. Overnight passes. If you are in Open Door, which, again, Open Door is the 14-day stay. If you're in Open Door, you need to get approval for an overnight pass from Kelly. He is the residential ministries manager. If you haven't met him, he's a great guy. His office is connected to the chapel that you're sitting in right now. Talk to him if you want an overnight pass, okay? And if you're in Pathway, you have to gain approval for an overnight pass through me, the guest advocate. No-shows. You don't want no-shows while you're staying here, okay? There's a difference between missing curfew and missing bed checks and being a no-show, okay? So curfew, obviously, if you're just past 8 o'clock on every day except Thursday being at 6 o'clock, that's missing curfew. If you're a no-show, that means that you missed bed check, and that happens in the middle of the night. The supervisors that work in the Welcome Center will go around in the middle of the night and make sure everybody is in their assigned bed. Now, they'll keep in mind the guys that are signed out for work, so you won't be a no-show if you're at work. But you've got to be using the bed, okay? If you get 2 no-shows during your stay here, you will be dismissed, okay? No hard feelings. You're not in trouble or anything. We just assume that you have somewhere else to go, all right? So you've got to be using the bed if you're staying here. And a jail stay, kind of similar, but if something happens, you're picked up, please just try to communicate to us what's going on. We get that that's a tough situation that you're going through, but after 3 days of not hearing from you, being in jail, we'll check you out of our system as well, okay? Just come talk to us when you're able. Daily schedules. All right, so weekly, Monday through Saturday, we kick guys out of this building from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., okay? And we want you to be productive with your day, okay? So whether you're going to the library and looking up some resources in the area, or going to job interviews, or applying for jobs, or looking for a place to stay after your time here, whatever it is, we want you to be out of our building and going and being productive with your day, okay? We let you come back at 11 because chapel is every day, Monday through Friday at 11:30, and then lunch is served at noon, okay? So that's why we let you come back at 11. And then after lunch, we kick guys out again at 1 p.m. All right, again, go be productive with your day. And then we let guys come back at 4:30 because dinner is served at 5, all right? And then Sunday is a little bit different. Sunday lunch is served at 1 p.m. So we don't, we make guys leave this building from 9 to noon, and then lunch is served at 1 p.m. In the afternoon on Sunday, you are encouraged to go out and enjoy the day, okay? And an important note, we only hold your items for 24 hours after you leave here, okay? So whether you're dismissed or you leave on your own accord, we only hold your items for 24 hours after you leave here. So please, please have a plan for your things when you leave, all right? We only hold them for 24 hours. All right, now getting into chapel. We have, I mentioned chapel a little bit ago. We have chapel Monday through Friday at 11:30. We also have our Gateway Encounter. That's every Thursday at 6:30. Gateway Encounter is an hour-long chapel where we'll have Bible study, some worship, all that great stuff. Now, curfew is at 6 p.m. on Thursdays. Everybody that's staying here that's not at work at the time is expected to go to the 6:30 Gateway Gathering, Gateway Encounter every Thursday. All right? Now, chapel, Monday through Friday, is a 15 to 20 minute devotion time that really pretty simple, just sharing the Word of God with you, right? So a couple rules for Gateway Encounter and chapel. So basic courtesy rules, right? But be respectful. Honor God while you're there. No sleeping. Please sit up and be courteous. Please don't move the chairs around. Just keep them in the rows as they are. Don't stand during service. Don't sit on the floor or against the wall. Don't charge your phone. Don't talk on the phone. Don't text, right? Put your phones away. Don't walk out during the service, so use the bathroom beforehand. Let's see. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Please don't bring any reading materials into chapel unless it's your Bible, okay? And then no food or drink are allowed in chapel either, all right? So basic courtesy rules. No scrubs or pajamas are allowed in chapel either. Basic courtesy, right? Just show respect. Now, key cards, that white fob key card that you were given when you checked in is how you get into doors. I'm sure you've noticed that you can buzz into certain doors and you can't buzz into other certain doors, right? This is on purpose. This is intentional. If you're trying to get into a door and you're like, man, I think I should be able to get into this door, no worries. We're humans too, right? We can mess up the programming. So just let a staff member know and they'll make sure that your key card is up to date, okay? And a fee for a lost or stolen card is $5, all right? So please don't lose your card. Now, personal vehicles. You are allowed to have your personal vehicle on our parking lot, but we have to know about it, and it has to be fully legal, right? So you've got to have up-to-date registration and tags, and insurance that is not expired either, okay? It's got to be fully legal if you're using our parking lot for that, all right? Now, vouchers. If you are in the open door stay, you can work 4 hours above and beyond your regularly scheduled chores to get a clothing voucher, right? And then they'll give you a list of clothes that you need, and then you can take that over to Waverly and 24th Street where our thrift store is and redeem that voucher, all right? And then if you're in Pathway, you can work 5 hours. You can do a clothing voucher as well, but you can work 5 hours above and beyond if you're in Pathway for a bike voucher. Same deal. Take that voucher over to the thrift store and redeem it there, okay? Now, smoking, chewing tobacco, and vaping, none of it is allowed in the building, okay? We take that very seriously. Even if it's just dipping your lip and you're spitting it into a cup or a bottle, not allowed. You can't use tobacco inside the building. We have a smoke pit out back at the end of the parking lot closest to the building. That is where you're allowed to smoke, okay? Now, please do me a favor, go down into the smoke pit. Don't stand on the sidewalk and lean over the fence. That's not technically in the smoke pit, so please go down into the smoke pit to use it, all right? And pick up your cigarette butts. Please don't throw them on the ground. Don't throw them in the street, in the grass. There's a big old metal trash can out there that says butts right on the side of it, okay? So please put your cigarette butts in that trash can. Now, you can roll cigarettes inside the locker room as long as it doesn't get a mess. If it becomes a mess, we will shut that down in an instant, okay? So please, please do not roll cigarettes messily. Please keep it neat and clean up after yourself, all right? Now, narcotics, alcohol, and drugs, including marijuana, those are not allowed on the property at all. I don't care if it's in the bottom of your bag or in your car or stuffed in the bottom of your locker. I don't care if it's an unopened bottle of alcohol that you don't even plan on using until you leave here. Don't care. It's not allowed. We do not take that lightly at all. If that's found on you, you will be dismissed immediately. All right, we take that very seriously. You are subject to random drug tests and breathalyzer tests while you're staying here. If you refuse to submit to a drug test or breathalyzer test, you will be dismissed. Okay, you're expected to submit to those while you're staying here. You are also subject to random locker checks with drug dogs, even if we deem it necessary, okay? It's our property. We reserve the right to know what's inside of there, okay? And I said it already, but I'll say it again, no vaping in the building, right? Same with smoking and dip in your lip, not allowed. But vapes, I know some guys like to try and take a couple puffs under their blanket at night when it's dark. If it's found, you'll be dismissed, okay? It's not allowed. Not allowed. All right, meal schedule. Breakfast is at 7:30, lunch is at 12 noon, and dinner is at 5 p.m. I talked about Sundays being adjusted a little bit with lunch being at 1, and then holidays might have a modified schedule as well, but we'll discuss those as they come up, okay? We'll make sure everybody's in the loop on that. Now, we eat on time, fellas. So when it says lunch is at 12 noon, lunch is at 12 noon. Lunch is not at 12:30. Lunch is not at 12:15. Lunch is not at 12:02, right? We eat on time. The guys and girls in the kitchen work very, very hard to provide us amazing food and great portions, by the way. So please be on time. Show respect to them, okay? And no backpacks are allowed in the dining facility either, okay? Sack lunches and save dinners. If you need a sack lunch, you're only eligible for that if you are working, okay? And when you sign out for work, you can sign up for a save dinner. Just say, hey, my name's Chris. I'm leaving for work. I'm going to be back at roughly 11 o'clock, excuse me. And what they'll do if you're on the Save Dinner list is they'll pack a to-go box for you at dinner time so that you can nuke it in the microwave when you get back, okay? And the sack lunches, they'll put you on the sack lunch list if you would like, and sack lunch happens at 8:30 p.m. every night. All right, you've got to go down and you can only get the items that are in the sack lunch room for your sack lunch. And then we have refrigerators in the Welcome Center if you want to use that for keeping your lunch cold till the next morning, that sort of thing, okay? If you're going to be at work during that 8:30 time slot, when guys usually get their sack lunch, you've got to find a different time with a shift supervisor to go and get your sack lunch, okay? And don't rush them. They're very busy guys, but when they have time, they will help you out, okay? Now, if you forget to sign up for a Save Dinner, we'll still give you a peanut butter and jelly or something like that, but we don't make extra Save Dinners for the guys that forget to sign up for a Save Dinner, so it's important that you do, in fact, remember to sign up for a Save Dinner. Let me know if you have any questions on that, or any staff know if you have any questions on those, okay? Now, knives and weapons are not allowed during your stay, all right? I get that a lot of guys might carry around a pocket knife. You can't have it while you're staying here. Just turn it into a staff member at the Welcome Center, and we'll hold it for you. It's still your property, so you'll get it when you leave, but you can't have it during your stay. And that includes in your backpack, and that includes in your locker or in your car, right? Can't have it while you're staying here. If it's found, you will be dismissed, okay? Now, dorms, please respect the dorms. Keep them clean, right? You must strip your bed every morning of the sheet and pillowcase, blanket, all that good stuff. No exceptions, okay? You've got to do that. You can't have any cell phones or personal items in the dorm either. No exceptions. No food or drink are allowed in the dorms either. No exceptions. Nobody wants ants, right? And you can sleep in your own PJs if you would like, but you cannot sleep in regular street clothes, okay? You've got to have some pajamas or sleep in scrubs that we provide, okay? But you can't sleep in street clothes. Now, clothing and laundry. Scrubs and pajamas are not allowed in a few different places, okay? Those include the chapel, the cafeteria. You can't wear our scrubs or those foam sandals that you got when you checked in. You can't wear those outside the building, all right? We have washing machines and dryers located in the back of the day room. That's the room connected to the Welcome Center, with the room with the TV in it, right? Please don't add any detergent to the washer. Soap is auto-dispensed into there, okay? If you look, there's a bunch of tubes and stuff running in the back of it. It's because the soap is auto-dispensed, so please don't add any soap, okay? And please keep an eye on your clothes as you're doing your laundry. We want you to do your laundry, trust me, but you've got to keep an eye on it. Know when it's going to go off and move it over to the dryer, or take clothes out of the dryer when it's ready. I can't promise that guys won't take it and toss it all over the place if you leave it there, okay? So please just don't put it in there and leave for 3 hours, right? Be respectful, be diligent about that. Now, mail. If you use our mailing address, it is very important to know that you cannot do a change of address through the post office, okay? And we have it set up in a way where that's not allowed, because if you were able to do that, once you leave here and forward your address to a new address, you would forward all the mail that we get here at this building. Number one, you don't want that much mail, trust me. And number two, we need that mail, okay? So you aren't able to do that. You won't be able to switch it back. Now, you can use Refresh as your address up on 10th Street. That's the Methodist Church. They let you use their address there if you would like. And you can also look into getting a P.O. box or something like that, having mail sent to a friend's house, something like that, okay? Now, an important note, too, is that we only hold your mail for 2 weeks after you leave here, okay? After that, we return it to sender. Now, chores and workstation. Guys, we're getting through it. You're doing great sitting through. We're almost done, all right? Daily chores and workstation. Now, there's a difference between those. I'll explain what that is. So, first, chores. Every guest that is staying here is assigned a daily chore. Now, that's something that'll take 10, 20 minutes just for you to pull your weight while you're staying here, okay? Those are important, and it's up to you. It's your responsibility to know what your chore or workstation is, okay? If you don't know, go and ask a staff member, one of the supervisors in the Welcome Center, and they'll let you know, okay? And then after you complete your chore, you have to sign off on it. That way we know what has been done and what has not been done, okay? So that's very important. Now, a workstation is a little bit different. Everybody gets a chore if they're staying here, including the guys up on the third floor. But a workstation is a 4-hour workstation that is for guys that are not working full time. So if you're not working at all or only working part time, you will be placed on a 4-hour workstation. Now, if you are currently working part time and you get a full time job, at that point you'll be taken off your workstation, so you're not stuck with it the whole time if you do gain full time employment. All right? Let us know if you have any questions on that. Now, medicine. We have a pretty strict med policy here. Basically, it's very simple. We have everybody turn in all meds. There's one exception, an inhaler. If you have an inhaler, let us know that you have it, but keep it on yourself, right? We don't want you having to shuffle to the Welcome Center to try to dig for it and find it if you need it, okay? Other than that, all prescribed medications, over-the-counter medications, or vitamins, right? All of those must be turned in. We don't say, hey, yeah, you can have this, but turn in this. You can have these 3 things, but turn in that one. No. That's too much confusion. Just across the board, everybody turns in everything, okay? Now, you can go to the Welcome Center and take your meds whenever you need to, right? But you've got to take it as prescribed. And you've got to turn it in. Can't have it in your bag, can't have it in your car, can't have it in your locker. Now, you cannot take any narcotic-based medication while you're staying here, okay? You've got to find some sort of substitute, and that includes Suboxone. If you need help or have any questions on any of that, please see our medical advocate. She's fantastic. Her name's Mackenzie. And she can get you set up with a doctor in the area or help point you in the right direction of next steps that you should take medically. Now, she's not a doctor, she's not a nurse, so she won't give medical advice, but she can provide phone numbers or next steps, that sort of thing. All right? All right, guys, now we're getting more specific into Pathway, like I said when we started. Again, Pathway is a 4-month work program, right? And we help you manage your money while you're in that program. I'm in charge of that program, and a few things that you need to know about Pathway is, number one, you've got to be working full-time, right? I explained Pathway Bridge already. If you're on disability or are unable to work full-time for whatever reason, have a conversation with me if you're interested in Pathway Bridge, and we can talk about that, okay? But Pathway, you get $30 a week from your own money that you get to spend. That's it, okay? That includes cigarettes, that includes a new pair of shoes, that includes socks, deodorant, toothpaste, that includes pop at the gas station or chips at the vending machine, going out to eat, cigarettes, vape, that includes all of that kind of stuff. Now, that does not include stuff like gas money or bus tickets or other things like that. If you're going to go above and beyond your $30, say you get a flat tire on your bike and it's going to be more than $30 to replace it, you got to talk to me first. Take one of my business cards if you're in Pathway and just let me know beforehand, and we can have a conversation before you purchase that thing, okay? Let me know if you have any questions on that. But you'll also be required to meet with me every week. We'll have a scheduled meeting time, and those meetings are very important. If you don't make those meetings, there is no Pathway program. If you don't make it a priority to make those meetings, or at least communicate to me another time that we could have our meeting, if you don't follow through, don't communicate, you will be dismissed from Pathway. That's very, very important. The goal of Pathway, 3 main goals: save money, pay on debts you have, and find a place to stay. All right? Talk to me more about Pathway if you're interested in that. All right? Now, last section, gents. Reasons for dismissal. Most of these, at least to me, seem pretty obvious, but please let us know if you have any questions, okay? So, number one, physical violence. Our rule of thumb is if two guys get in a fight, both guys are dismissed. All right, any use of racial slurs against any guest or staff. I don't care what racial slur it is. I don't care what the guy saying it looks like. I don't care what the guy he's saying it to looks like. I don't care if you guys are buddies and you say it and you laugh about it all the time. Don't care. Not allowed while you're staying here, okay? We take that very seriously, and that will lead to a dismissal. Any possession of any type of weapon, all right? We already talked about turning in your weapons if you have them. If they're found to be on you or in your possession or in your locker or car, bag, anything like that, it will lead to a dismissal. Any smoking or open flames in the building, that includes a candle or something like that, not allowed. That'll lead to a dismissal as well, all right? Any use of drugs or alcohol, including marijuana, on the property, all right? We talked about that. Can't do it. It will result in a dismissal. That includes possession of, if you're selling it, distributing it, whatever. All that stuff will lead to a dismissal. If you're in pathway, multiple money management violations, right? So if it's just a consistent disregard for wanting to do the program as it's designed, you will be dismissed. Any threatening language, this means verbal language and body language, okay? So you can't walk up to somebody and square up with them, bow up to them, whatever you want to call it. You can't be threatening in any way. And with the words that you say, I don't care if you never intended on following through on anything you said. Don't care. You still made a threat. It will lead to an immediate dismissal. All right? Multiple times of not reporting for assigned workstations or chores. We just changed that. Even the first time you missed your chore, you're out of here. I'm just kidding. Hold on. Pause. We're not that harsh, right? But again, that's just if there's a consistent disregard for pulling your weight in the responsibilities that you've been given while you're staying here, that's when you'll be dismissed, okay? Any refusal to submit to the authority of staff that are enforcing guidelines. A good example I can think of with this, and this is not the only example, but if you refuse a drug test, that will lead to a dismissal. All right? Any intentional destruction of mission property or the property of another guest. Now, a good example I can think of with this, guys don't come in here under the best circumstances. We talked about that first thing when we started. I get it. I don't know what you're going through, but we have a phone, a public phone in the day room that you can use. We've had guys before in a heated conversation, and again, I don't know what you're going through, but guys before have gotten really mad and smashed the phone, right? You can't do that. You'll be expected to pay for it, and we'll press charges, and you'll be dismissed, that whole bit, right? So just please don't destroy stuff. I get that you're going through stuff, but you've got to not destroy stuff, right? Any theft of the mission or a guest. A good example I can think of with this is even if there's a suitcase, for example, that's sitting in the locker room and you've been here a couple weeks, you're like, ooh, that hasn't been touched by anybody. It hasn't moved since the day I stepped in here. It must be available. So you take it for yourself. Can't do that. That's theft. You will be dismissed, all right? And the owner of that item can press charges against you if they'd like. Now, unless somebody specifically says, the owner of that item or a staff member specifically say, hey man, you can have this thing, don't take it, all right? Please, when in doubt, ask. All right, any sale or distribution of drugs or alcohol, including marijuana, we talked about that, but also medications. You can't be passing your pills around, that sort of thing. Hey man, I have a headache too, I take this for it. Nope, can't do that. It's prescribed to you. You can't pass your meds along, okay? Any breach of security. So please do not block open the security doors. Don't allow in non-guests, that whole thing, right? Doors locked for a reason. We want to keep this place safe. And there's a reason that you have to buzz into a door because you're only allowed to get in here if you're staying here, all right? And then an excessive accumulation of corrective guidances, or again, CGs. 3 CGs, again, that's just a written warning laying out what rule was broken, and then you sign it, and things have to get better, right? 3 CGs, and that'll put you on a covenant, right? A covenant is a more in-depth written warning that is signed by 2 staff members. that clearly lays out, hey man, these things have to get better if you're going to keep staying here. And a covenant is the last step before dismissal. If you break the covenant, you're dismissed. All right? Guys, we made it. Thanks for sitting through it with me. At the end of the day, we reap what we sow, right? If I plant a corn seed in the ground, I'm not going to get an apple tree, right? If I sow respect in this world, I will get respect. Generally speaking, right? People still make poor decisions. But generally speaking, if you sow respect, you will reap respect, right? Thanks for joining me. Please let us know if you have any questions at all. We would love to answer whatever questions you have, and you have a great day.